Hi, everyone, and welcome to a new series I'm doing called Witchy Wednesday. Today, I am renewing my big spell jar that I keep every year in our house, and I renew it every New Year's. To start with, I have my black candle that is my normal working candle. I've also lit a green candle, which represents growth and abundance, and a purple candle, which aids in spirituality and fulfillment. So to start with, I use incense to cleanse the jar. I've kind of washed it from it's the same one I used last year, and the incense just clarifies it a little bit and kind of cleanse my workspace while I'm at it. Then I like to grind my herbs together. I just feel like it mixes them and combines their energies well. I'm starting with rosebuds because I want next year to be filled with love. And you need to tell every ingredient what you're wanting it to do. The next thing I'm putting in is peppermint, which is a herb that supports communication and it aids in mental strength. Then I am putting in alfalfa. And alfalfa is an herb that is usually used in money spells, and I want next year to be a financially good year. Up next, I'm adding blessed thistle, which is an herb to focus on countering jinxes and deflecting negative energies. No negative energies for us in 2025. I also added colt's foot, although I think I accidentally deleted it, which is a spell of renewal and welcoming the return of the sun. Then I'm using my mortar and pestle to just kind of grind them up a little bit and make sure they're really well mixed together before adding them into my cleansed jar. And I just used a little spoon because it's easier to kind of scoop it in there and I don't get my big old fingers all over everything and get a big mess everywhere. Although it's me, there's usually a mess. And you can use as much or as little as you like. It doesn't take a lot. It's all about your intentions. Just kind of tapping it down to make sure I have space for everything else. Now I'm adding in cinnamon for luck, because Lord knows we all need luck in 2025. Cinnamon's also a good thing to blow into your door on the first of every month, and especially on the first of the year. But if you do have pets, be aware. It can be toxic for pets. You can achieve the same effect by tossing a cinnamon stick in and then picking it up. Just don't toss it out. I'm adding lavender buds for peace and tranquility because I don't need any more excitement in my life. It's exciting enough. And I'm adding some sugar so the year will be sweet. These jars that I keep some of my more used herbs in, I made them myself out of resin, and they have a corresponding stone on top, so sugar has amethyst in it. Then I add coffee because I always need energy. And I know I'm putting all these things to be peaceful and tranquil, but I myself want energy. So I'm adding some coffee to give me energy, not to give other things energy. Then I'm adding my stones. First up, I'm adding preonite. And preonite aids in peace and harmony and releasing baggage, emotional healing, and it helps you with your precognition and preparing you for the future. After that, I put in, I believe it was amethyst. And amethyst, again, is a stone for healing, physical, mental, and spiritual healing. After that, I'm adding in just a little bit of blue adventurine, which is good for prosperity and also for positive energy and especially positive mental energy, which is always a good thing. I have 3 more stones I'm adding. I'm adding obsidian, which is my favorite protective stone. I'm adding moonstone, which is another one that's good for emotional and physical healing. It's also my birthstone. It's a stone that I just really connect with. It's a stone for new beginnings and feminine energy. And then the last stone I'm adding is quartz, but it's a very special kind of quartz. I'm adding some Herkimer diamonds. Any quartz is going to energize the ingredients and the crystals around it, but Herkimer diamonds specifically also add clarity, purity, and spiritual attunement. Now I'm going to start adding my protective ingredients, although I did forget one of my non protective ingredients that I'll add after this, but I'm adding some eggshells, which suggest a barrier and protecting you in your new beginnings. This is a protective powder that I make myself. It's got various chilies and peppers in it. And if anyone wants to know how to make it, I'll be happy to film it next time I make more. I've still got quite a bit left, but I use this in a lot of my spell bottles. And then I'm adding my black salt, and I make my black salt myself. I just take some charcoal, some ashes from various incenses I've burned, and I mix that with just regular old table salt. Ingredients don't have to be really difficult or crazy. You can make them and put your own energy and your own intentions into it. And honestly, the salt you buy at the grocery store is just fine. It's about intention more than anything else. This is the ingredient I forgot to add. And these are silver flakes. And this is something that I add to my prosperity spells. Sometimes I'll use money rice, but for this one, I wanted to go with the silver flakes because I put so many prosperity things in already. I'm adding some cedar oil for a couple of reasons. The first is I love the smell. And although I won't really smell this, I just like adding things that smell good to me. And cedarwood is going to connect you to your earthly roots. It's also a healing, a symbol of endurance, prosperity, and protection. So it's a great oil to add in your spell bottles. This one is a custom blended oil that was made by Sisterhood Obscura, and it is specifically a meditation oil. And I use this on myself whenever I'm doing any divination work, but I put it in this because I want divination in my year and I want good focus. Next, I'm adding moon water, and for this particular one, I'm adding full moon water because full moon water is the best for energizing, and it's really good for fulfillment and beginning and manifestation. Now, I work with mainly Celtic gods and goddesses, so I like to add just a little bit of whiskey to a lot of my work because it's kind of a thank you for working with me and aiding me in my various activities throughout the year. It's just kind of a thing I do because of my specific gods and goddesses I work with. Now, the last step for me is to seal the jar. And this is metaphorically sealing the jar with wax because this particular jar does not have the type of lid that you can seal with wax. It just kind of overhangs a little bit. So this is metaphorically sealing my intentions into the jar. And yes, I realized I didn't have a surface down to protect my altar cloth. The altar cloth is used to it. I often forget to use a fireproof thing. Don't worry, I have lots of water here in case I screw up. So I put a little bit of the wax of the purple and of the green candle, and then I top it with my black candle, which is the one I use for protection, because above all of this, I want to seal in the protective energies for me in my house. Now I'm going to let this black candle, I've affixed it to the top with just a little bit of the hot wax. I'm going to let this candle burn out. Once it's burned out, I'm going to place this candle close to my door and let it do its job. So thanks for joining me today for Witchy Wednesday, and I will see you next week.